So here's what we're going to do for the next hour, or 45 minutes to an hour, is take a look at some of the objectives that we talked about in each of our groups. And like the old days when I would say, can you just do me a favor, everybody? I hate when people pray, when people are speaking. So can everybody turn off their iPhones? And we're going to pay attention for the last hour and a half. And it's just, I'm old school, sorry. But we're going to be focused on, the whole thing was focus. So when I see people praying, that's not focus. It's your job to make the buyers successful or to help them solve the problem. This is what Gary said. That's what our job is, solve the buyer's problem. Whether they're in a bookstore, whether they're a librarian, whether they're a pharmacist, whether they're a CPA at the University of Texas, Austin, it's our job to make their job better. Which is the other thing I say to everybody, I do feel good about our future. I am really optimistic about our future. And everybody who knows me, who works with me, I don't pull punches. I'm very honest in my statements. Have you all read The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team? It is a great book. You know, it takes an hour and a half to read. And the key part I got out of it, there are a lot of key items in that book that were terrific. The key part I liked about it is I'm allowed to say to Mark, you know, Mark, I don't think that's the right idea. I think there's another approach that we can give to it. And then he's able to come back to me, no, Dean, I think this is the right approach and how we should be doing it. We were allowed to go back and forth and then come to consensus and make sure we're moving in the right direction. The customer comes first. Always got to remember your audience. Always got to remember your audience. And what's pretty neat is we've sent this card back and forth. We've sent this card back and forth to each other for 35 years. I went on this trip. It started off in Melbourne. I visited Collins Booksellers with Claire McKenzie, the national accounts manager from a Melbourne office. We went there. We met with Daniel Jordan, the CEO of Collins Booksellers. They're a chain of bookshops in Australia. And not a rocket science question, I asked, how's business? How's everything going? And he said, Dean, it's not rocket science. Well, heard that line before. I said, well, what are you doing? What are you working on? And he said, well, we've decided to bring things back to our basic understanding of servicing the customer, no matter who they may be. So when you look at this team that is here, we talk about teams and the teams that are back at our offices around the world. This is a really good group. This is a really good group of people. When you look around here, Joan, you put together a pretty good team. Pretty darn good indeed. You know, I'd go to battle with anyone in this room. I really would. This is a great group of people.